Hey guys, I wanted to get on here and show you, I needed to fix the video I had from the other day with the Minnie Mouse card that I made for you guys because the sound went out. I don't know if you guys realize, but the sound had gone out partway through. So I wanted to get on here real quick and do another video for it. This is the card we made. And you guys probably figured out how I did it, but without any sound, it just makes it kind of a messed up card, you know, not a messed up card, but a messed up video. So I'm going to quickly go through this. That's why I didn't show my face, just so that I could get on here and quickly get this done. Hopefully it has sound unlike the other day. So we'll quickly get on here and get this going. So what I used in order to make the polka dots, my good friend Candy gave me this die, which it's called dots and spots, and she thought I could use it. She had an extra one, and I do work for her and help her do extra stuff, and I don't know, she was just so great. She thought I would could use this, so I was so glad that she gave it to me. So I went ahead and I decided to make a Minnie Mouse. She thought that it would be good to have the dots. Oh, good, Marsha. I'm glad that you were waiting for this. Sorry it took me so long. I had to cut everything first. So what we're going to use is a Simply Fabulous stamp set, which obviously was made by me. If I ever become $1 million like Stampin' Up demonstrator, I'm definitely naming it Fabulous something. I don't know what I would have in it, but it would be something really Disney-y. And it would definitely have to say fabulous, just saying. And so I'm using the spots and dots, and then I'm using the circle dies. The die I used was this little tiny circle. It's the smallest one in the whole set. It looks like it's only like 1 inch wide. And this one is the third one in. This is exactly how they come from Stampin' Up. I added the magnets. And this one here looks like it's just under 2, yeah, it's not 2 inches. It's like 2 3/4 inches is what it looks like. It's hard to tell when you're using the die. And so hopefully the sound is gonna last and we'll get to do the whole thing. I don't know why it cut out the other day. It was weird. And so I just want to zip through this so we can get it done. So when I did this card, I have my basic base, my circles. Yeah, let me measure them here. Yeah, this one is a 1 inch circle. It's a little over 1 inch, actually. It's a little bigger than 1 inch. It's kind of hard to say because, like I said, when you're measuring with the die, and this one is a little under 2 inches. Yeah, it's bigger than 2 3/4. Anyway, when you're doing the circles for a Mickey head, you have to be careful because people will automatically choose the next size down from the circle, this circle. And that's not really how the ears are when you're making a Mickey head. It's almost like 2 sizes smaller. And you don't want them to be too close together, because if they're too close together, it looks like a bunny almost. And if they're too far in, it looks like a little bear or a monkey. So it's kind of funny how you place them. So when I went ahead and those are the circles, and this label I'll tell you about in a minute. So when I did my die cut off a little bit. So as you can see, I was rushing with this, so it moved on me. When you put your die on, you want to try and catch it to where you won't have these little partial what's it called? Dots. Let me grab my cutter, see if I can trim that off, just so that it looks consistent. It's just a tiny, tiny fraction off, and I probably can cut it with my cutter. Yep, I got them off. There we go. So that worked out perfectly. Most of the time that I've used it, I've managed to do it without having too many extra partial circles. I saw one more partial circle somewhere I think there's a partial circle right here. No, it was just a bend. But on this card, the first card I did, there's a couple partial circles off to the side here. And you just have to be careful when you're placing the die. Yeah, because Minnie hides the bow, Marsha. The bow hides the sins, I think. So when you're using this die, just, you know, you can use some tape. You can put some like washi tape down. And then for the layer behind, technically you can just grab, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4, or 4 inches by 5 1/4. But what I did is I trimmed off, not even, I think it's only like a 1/16. I don't even think it's a full 1/8. It might be an 1/8 of an inch that I trimmed off the edge, because when you're attaching the white behind the red, you want to make sure that none of the white is showing. Okay, so that's how you get it to where none of the white is showing off the edge. If I did it the other way, even before I trimmed it on this edge here, even at the top here, you can see like the slightest shadow of white, because, you know, we're imperfect people when we do our cutting. And as a result, you know, we will have slightly off lines. I don't have a, you know, I don't necessarily try to work for perfection in my crafting. I just do the best I can. So I'm going to go ahead and use the dots from Paper Pumpkin because they're handy and I have a bunch of them. You can also use the dots that we sell. They're just a little bit wider. You can also use white glue. You can use a variety of different glue. I'm going to go ahead and put some dots along the side. These are the ones that come inside the Paper Pumpkin kit, which is an all-inclusive craft kit that you can get. I want them especially on the corners. Here we go. I want them in the corners. Okay, that's the key there. And then I want a couple in the center just to hold it down. You don't want it really popping up. So I just got a couple in the middle there. I don't need a ton on the edges. But, and so it's an all-inclusive craft kit that comes to your house every month if you choose. You can also pause it anytime. It's also 100% satisfaction guaranteed. So if you get it and you don't like it, we take care of it. They refund it to you. I think they send you a label and you just send it back. Like they pay for the sending back. I don't even think they make you pay for it. I'm pretty sure that they pay for it. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me, but I'm pretty positive that they just pay for it themselves and they let you send it back. They're that good of a company. So, so as you can see, I just added, let me put the black. I added just some glue dots, mainly around the corners here, because I don't want these corners popping up. I'll put a glue dot on the edge here. I just don't want parts of it popping up too much when I glue it down. It's not a big deal. It's just the corners I didn't want popping up especially because, well, it just looks bad when you have it popping up. Oh, and I just realized my ribbon fell. It fell just before I was starting to film, and I'm like, oh, I need to go get that. And I was like, oh, you didn't go get it. Luckily, I have my cane here to grab it. So, all right, so when I go to put this on the white, I'm just going to put the white on it. So these, like I said, it's all-inclusive kit, which is amazing. And so everything I need is inside the kit, except for scissors. But all the glue is in there, all the stamps, the ink, and usually it's cards, but sometimes it's like a little craft or treat containers. Like for Halloween, they had treat containers. For this month, they had Christmas cards, and for this next month, I believe it's tags that are going to be, so if you need to sign up by the 10th, I need to sign up. I think I'm going to get 2 kits this time. I'm going to start doing videos that show you how I make my alternatives, and so that is a new thing that I'm going to try and start adding to my video collection. I already make these alternatives, so the idea that I'm not demoing them is kind of a waste too. So, whoops. Okay. Okay, done. And then I'm just going to take my white and I'm going to, like I told you, I only took like 1/8 of an inch off. It wasn't even that much. It was the tiniest amount. I took it off each side. Oh, I'm still overlapping. I'm going to trim a tiny bit more off this before I put it down. Let me trim a tiny bit off again. It's just a little bit too much. And then I trimmed it even more, remember? So let me trim it to like here. Because you don't want to trim too much because you want to still cover all of the white dots. But you want to also make sure that you you don't want the white showing in a shadow. And so I think I need a new cutter blade. It's like almost tearing my paper. Yeah, I needed just a little bit more cut off of there. And so that way I can layer it without having a shadow. Let me put the black down. There we go. And that'll help me see it. So having a darker color underneath it will help me layer it a little bit better. Help me see my white layer. Oh, good. That was it. That's what I needed. And now I have totally covered my, it's almost, it's still almost the same size as the red. Because look, if I had gone any further, you would have seen a hole on this edge here. You see, like, or on this edge. And I didn't want that. I wanted to make sure that it was white dots all the way across. Okay. And so now for the ribbon, all I did was I took the gingham ribbon and I wrapped it around 2 times. Not around, I just cut 2 strips. So let me get my fabric scissors here. And so this is about maybe 5 inches. Just enough to where you can wrap it around the edge. I have a lot of ribbon for the gingham ribbon, so I'm not as stingy. I made a Haunted Mansion card earlier, and I was a little stingier with my ribbon, only because I only had a little bit. I didn't want to run out in the middle of our video. So, and I was doing the treat boxes. So then I decided to layer the gingham over 2 rows of dots. I don't want it too far down and I don't want it too far up because I'm going to use this label. And this label is actually from a Picture This die. And I don't think, let me see if it's handy here. I have that right here. There it is. And that way I can show you where I got the label. I saved it from earlier, so. Okay, so I've got my label here, and then I'm going to put my mouse here. So I think that that line right there is a good line. Sometimes it's good just to lay it out because your dots might be a little off than mine. So technically I did 3 rows up, but on this one I did 4 rows up. So it might also be my placement of my dots, you know, and how they came out. Maybe not, maybe. I'm going to go up to the 4 rows and let's see. I can always move it if I need to. It wouldn't be bad if it were too low. It's just that the Mickey head's going to hang down. And so you want to make sure it's high enough to where the Minnie head can actually hang down. There we go. And I want it to cover, yeah. Oh yeah, see if I had it down lower, it would have been a little too low. So I'm glad I checked with my original sample. I have another sample that I made and it must be over there in this stack of cards. And remember, as you comment, I always put people's names in for what I made. So, and then do a little drawing and mail you the card. So, so yeah, I've had some different friends. They were watchers or followers or whatever you want to call it. I'll send you guys a nice little packet of cards sometimes. I don't always send them out right away in each week, improvement, one thing at a time. So there's my little Minnie Mouse base, the card base. And so I'm just going to glue that down. I'm not going to pop it up. I'm just going to glue it straight down with white. That's it. The white liquid, that's a Tombow liquid glue, mono adhesive, mono liquid glue, they call it. And it's only like $4 on Stampin' Up's website. It's a pretty decent price. And so I buy it quite a bit. I didn't like it at first, but once you start using it, you learn how not to squeeze. Yes, and as opposed to the opposite, yeah. as opposed to the opposite where you would have used it like, I wanted to showcase the white as opposed to showcasing the red. Yeah. And so, all right, so we got that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the back of these little, on these circles. I'm going to use just the glue dots I have here handy. I could use the white glue too. I've got some stuff on there. My fingers must have picked up something. And I'm just going to put a couple glue dots at the base of the Mickey. It's not a Minnie head until it has a bow, you know. And so technically it's a Mickey head until it has a bow on it. That's the deal. And so just a couple dots. And again, you could use a regular glue dot. You could also, oh yeah, this one's called the Dots and Spots, by the way, Jeanette. I got it from Candy. She was so sweet. She's like, I thought you could use this for Minnie Mouse. And I was like, yes. She had an extra one that she, and you know, I do the extra, like you, she works with Candy too. We both like work for her and get paid in product and things like that. Or some people get paid, I think, but I get paid in product. So, so you have one Mickey head there. I'm not pressing my ears down too hard because I might need to adjust them. No, this one's, I had a feeling this one was a little off. And like I said, you can't put them too close together or too far apart or too far in. They have to be just right. It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You just keep adjusting it until you get it right. And it's kind of like when I did that camping card the other day. I loved my camping card that I made a few weeks ago. I made that camping card, which I used the two, what's it called? The two circles and a bigger circle from the camping. It was like a Mickey camping card if you search it. And we're going to put this here. We're going to pop it up on, I'm going to need my other dimensionals too, or my other dots. And here we go. I think that's about right. And I'm going to use the black dimensionals. And you guys know I don't usually use them, so I'm glad I'm using them. Because it's a black, because I have the black, I feel like this is too far apart. No, it's right. It's because it's upside down. Because I have the black cardstock, using the black dimensionals is probably pretty smart. It's not as if you can see a huge gap on the side, but it just gives a good finish to your card when you use the matching, yes, mouse head. You're right. I could call them that, Jeanette. What's it called? It's not a huge thing that people notice when you use the white dimensionals, but it can be depending on how you place your design, how your design is. Sometimes you can see the dimensionals from the side, and so it just depends on what you're making. So there we go. So now I've got my head in place, and I've got my head on tight, sort of. I'm going to have to use white for the other, so I'm going to put this away. Oops. No, there we go. All right. So then for her little bow, this ribbon doesn't make the cutest bows, but I was trying different ways to make different ribbon that we had, and nothing was working. So I went ahead and I decided to make a bow out of this mini ruffled ribbon, which I actually love this ruffled ribbon. I think it's really pretty. We used to have it for a bunch of different in colors too, like lemon lime twist and a bunch of different in colors. And I really liked it. And I have a few rolls left of some of those other colors. But what I found was that it's not like the prettiest bow. Technically it's fine, but I kind of felt like it needed a little something else. So what I decided to do is take Sweet Sorbet, which is not, it's like a little pinkier. Technically it's a little more pink. And I thought I'd add another tiny bow to on the top, just to add a little, and that little baker's twine stripe looks kind of cute when it's added to the top here. You're right. The red and green from that would have been perfect. I don't have that one. That would have been a good ribbon. I don't have that ribbon. So yeah, that would have been a good ribbon now that I think about it. I don't always buy I just use what I have usually. That would have been a good ribbon. So, whoop. Okay, so I got my little bow and look, she came out straight. Sometimes you'll have little twists, like this one's starting to twist in. If you have a bow that twists in, don't worry, the glue dot, you can be your best friend and help you get it to lay flat. Now, I'm going to use the real glue dots that we sell. The big, not real, they're all good. And it's easy to tie. Yeah, the ruffled ribbon is not as easy to tie. I have found that using these glue dots are better with fabric than other. So what I'm doing is I'm just rolling my glue dot just a tiny bit so that I can attach this little baker's twine bow there. So let me get that to set down. There we go. So I rolled it up like a little taco. And if one of the loops is twisting, try to make sure that the two ends of the loop are touching the glue dot, and that can help make sure that it stays flat. See, now it's not twisting anymore because I got it to attach right flat. These two little, I'll point with my tweezers. This little end and this little end are now flat against the glue dot. And I didn't have to worry about the other loop because that one was already flat, okay? And then for the bigger glue dot, or the bigger bow, I'm gonna take the whole thing and place the knot against the roll and then peel up. And that removes the glue dot, and a little better than when you have to use your tweezers and everything. There we go. And so now she is ready to go. Ooh, that side's a little bit longer, isn't it? Quite a bit longer, by like almost a 1/4 inch. There we go. I try not to cut when it's already on it, and it moved on me. Dang it, that ruffle. There we go. All right. So that is and I tie a little string around. I learned this from Candy. Jeanette probably knows. I tie a little string around the ribbon. I learned it from Candy and Darlene. And it allows me to roll this around and only peel up what I need. Otherwise, it like unrolls just naturally, you know. Yeah, I think that tiny bit of baker's twine, Marcia, adds to that funny little ruffle, because the ruffle isn't as cute. I think it would have been better to use that red you were telling me about. And this is the Sweet Sorbet baker's twine that comes in the in color packet. You get, I think, something like 50 yards of twine. It says 10 yards. This is more than 10 yards, this roll. This roll alone is 10 yards. So I thought this was like 2 yards, and then we have 5 colors. No, this is like 10 yards each. It's like crazy. It was surprising that they had so much twine that they gave you in that. So it's really generous when they give it to you. So then we've got our stamps, and I've got my little envelope here that I stamped for that one. I wanted to show you how much confetti. So I made this little basket. Look how cute. It's the Lucifer the cat from Cinderella. Isn't he the cutest? I just love him. I made him with the fox builder that we had from a few years ago. Anyway, he's so cute. Look at, and all the little dusty things. So this is the confetti that came out of my dots. If you saved up enough, like Marcia said in the other day, if I could put it in a little container and keep saving it up, and you could have a good shaker card, which is, I've seen other people do with this particular design. So that's just something to think about if you want to save up enough of your dots and then do a shaker card with it. So for the inside of my card, I'm going to put a flower. This little flower reminded me of Minnie Mouse's you know, the classic Minnie Mouse has a hat. She has a blue dress and a hat, a blue polka dot dress, and a hat with a little bow. Or maybe a red hat. Yeah, she has like a red hat with a bow. And so, or with a flower, a little like daisy. And so I decided to do a little red flower on our envelopes and our insert. You know, if you guys have watched enough of my videos, you know how much I love to stamp the envelope. Oops, I put it on the wrong side. Yeah, because right here is where you're supposed to put your address. I was supposed to put it over here. Oh well, I'll leave room so that I can have plenty of room for my address right here. Oopsie, because I was doing it, yeah, okay, because like the stamp is here, so my bad. So this little label, like saving the confetti, for me, saving the confetti is a little fussy because I can see myself dumping the container by accident if I'm not careful. So, but with these labels, so this is called the Picture This dies, and there's a circular one and there's the rectangle one. I've obviously used the rectangle one several times. I don't know if I've used the circle yet. I don't know why. My designs haven't lent themselves to the circles yet. I need to do that. So what happens is when you pop out the rectangles, it stitches, here, I'll put it here. It stitches the outside frame and it stitches the inside piece. So if you save these pieces when you cut out these frames, they're the perfect label for something else. So that's where I got this particular label from, but you could use any label. I needed kind of a wide label, narrow but wide, and this was the perfect size. And so this is a really versatile die. You might not recognize its versatility if you just look at the shape on the outside, because to me it looks like, well, it just cuts out 3 rectangles and a bunch of circles, but not really. It cuts out frames. And then the bonus are these extra pieces in the middle. Those are the bonus, but it actually really is there to cut out frames. That's the intent of it. And I save those little pieces on the inside so that I can do other stuff. So I'm going to stamp "You Are Simply Fabulous" because it's clearly, that's what Minnie Mouse would say. Let's be real. Minnie Mouse would say, "You are simply fabulous," because she would be like me. Hello. There we go. Cute. Got it. I can't get enough of this stamp set. I need to make some more cards with it. I'm never getting rid of it just because of that one sentiment. It's, I think that when I get more people that join my team, I should always make a card for them that says fabulous. I think I did I have one person on my team, Holly Gentry, and she was just a customer, and then she joined my team because she wanted the bonus of the items, and she had been following me, and she had seen all these bonus items that she would get if she signed up. She was already going to buy some of those items, so it made sense for her to just sign up. And yeah, just made sense. Okay, and I'm going to use dimensionals, white dimensionals on this. I don't know if the black will show through the white, but it could. And I'm just using the tiny ones only because I have them out here. The other ones are buried underneath there, so I'm not going to go back and try and dig for them. So, and I've told you I've been using up these mini ones because I've had some of these packages for a long time, like several years. And they don't really go bad, but I mean, if I've got several packages, eventually over time, some of that adhesive might dry up. So I realized I should probably use these up way faster. So I'm just using a bunch. Okay. And I'm putting "You Are Simply Fabulous" right here. I could even put some rhinestones, but I don't want to gild the lily, as my grandmother always said. So cute little card there. Let me put this on the inside, and that's our card. I'm just putting this on the inside. Stamped my little flower. The classic Minnie, my favorite character. Everyone thinks Minnie Mouse is my favorite character. Actually, Cinderella is my favorite character. She is always my favorite. And then I love Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. But I only have Stitch things really in my car. I have a few Stitch things in my apartment because I have the Stitch movie poster. But most of the time I have Cinderella in a little display case that I have. And then I have some Stitch. What I do love are Minnie Mouse ears, which, I mean, shocker. I don't know if you ever noticed, but I have a few of these, just a couple. I have just a couple pairs, which is not true. Sometimes I'll clean the house in these. I'm not going to lie. I'll clean the house in the ears. It makes me feel better. Also, wearing a tiara is sometimes cool because it's just like I don't know, I feel better when I wear my Minnie Mouse ears. Oh, here's my other card. Here's my other one. Same thing. Oh yeah, see this one I made a little bit lower. But you cover up, I guess, more of the dots when I do it lower that way. You know, I don't know. I kind of like this nice spacing here. So this is the one I made the other day where the sound went out. And then here's the one the first one I made, I believe. Oh, and this one I got to put a glue dot. My little bow is coming loose because I kept moving it around and moving it while I was trying to, before I was trying to get these, ready over the last week or so. So yeah, so we've got our cute little card and our envelope. Simple card overall. The design is simple, but you can see that when you move the ribbon lower or higher, it just changes the dynamic one way or another. I kind of like this wider area here, and just to show off the dots more. You know what I mean? It's, you know what? When you see designs, it's the simple things that make things better. Some of the smallest details actually make, oops, that was a big move. That wasn't my plan. My bad. Sorry. It's just this little things that make a big difference. That, just showing off those extra dots, because Minnie Mouse loves dots. And so having those extra layers of dots, I think, shows off the die more than the other way. But both are good. I think and the reason why I used 2 strips of ribbon was one was too narrow for the size of circle. And this ribbon, red on the red, it just, I don't know. I didn't like the monotone red on red. And I didn't like the red and then the ruffle and the thing. I don't know. It was just trying too hard. So that's why I went ahead and settled with the 2 rows of gingham. Because that way I had a quote unquote wider ribbon, but not necessarily a lesser, level of ribbon. But yeah, and remember the size of the paper I use. This is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Scored it 5.5. This is 4 by 5 1/4. This white. And this red is 4 by 5 1/4, and the white underneath is like a smidge smaller than the red. I want to say it's like 1/8 of an inch smaller. I didn't measure it. I just trimmed it a little bit more. If you go back and watch the beginning of the video, you'll see I trimmed it a little bit more each time to try and get my the right size to fit. So yeah, so there's our little Minnie Mouse card. I like this one better. I don't know about you. Which one do you guys like? The one on the, I guess that's your right, or the one on the left? It's the only difference is this area, small area, the placement. So, but yeah, so you guys decide. So I'm glad you guys joined me, and hopefully you can share this. Remember, I put everyone that comments, I put their name in for a drawing for the cards that I make in the video. And if you share it, I'm always very grateful, but I cannot ask you to share it like for the drawing. I can only ask you to comment, because there's like rules on Facebook I just learned where like they put you in Facebook jail if I ask people to share my stuff. But I can always ask you guys to comment so that I can make sure that you are put into the drawing. So it's funny how they have that, but not the sharing. It's weird. So, but you know, Facebook is weird. I don't know. Sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook sometimes because I don't like that they knew that I was looking for towels just because I said it one day in my apartment. I don't know. They're like stalking me. I'm just saying. So, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a great day. I will see you guys tomorrow. I have a Hunchback of Notre Dame card tomorrow. Oh, and the stamps I used, it's Simply Fabulous. And the dies, this was the Picture This dies, and the dots and spots, which I've put away. I think I put it away already. Picture This dies was the other one. And the dots, it's called Dots and Spots. So enjoy. Have a great day, guys. Thanks.